Hey geeks, so today I'm going to be showing you how to set up vertical video in OBS for webcams or cameras, and I'm going to show you this through multiple steps, but overall it's going to be a very easy process. And so the first thing that you want to do is actually have a video capture source for your webcam or camera. And so under sources, you're going to go to the plus sign, and then you're going to add a video capture device, which I've already done. And whenever you do that, you can choose an existing one or create a new one. And when you do that, then you're going to be able to choose which video capture device you want to use. So if you select this source, go to properties, and then choose your drop down. If you have multiple cameras, you could choose that. I'm going to choose my Logitech webcam in the front, say OK. So that is the first step. Make sure you have a video capture source. Now, I'm going to go over two things that are going to be important for you to do, because whenever you change this over to a vertical video format, you are going to have to make some adjustments. And so the first thing is, whenever you select your video capture source, you'll see a red border around it and also some squares right here, as you see. So these right here will allow you to resize things. So as you can see there, so you can resize your image however you want. However, if you actually wanted to get a bigger view, like for example, you want to scale it, but then you can't see this entire border, what you can do is go here on the bottom left or the top left right here, and then you could reduce this size. Okay, so right now the default is scale to window, so it fits this window, but I could go ahead and decrease the size. So this allows me to have more control whenever I'm making this bigger, so then I could actually see the border and then the area that I'm recording it in. Okay, so if you want to go back to scale and fit your screen, you could go here to the drop down and then scale to window, and now it'll go ahead and fill the screen. So that's the first thing, the ability to scale and resize. And so the second feature is cropping. And so whenever you are scaling and resizing, it adjusts the entire image, but the whole image is still there. But whenever you crop, you actually want to reduce the size of this source from left to right or up and down. And there are a number of ways that you can crop. And so one of the ways is you want to make sure that this source is selected, and then you have your red borders, and then you have these squares that you can see here, or handles. And then you can right click on your mouse and then go to transform and then go to edit transform. So here you're going to see some options to crop by pixels. I typically do not like to do this because I can't easily adjust this and it just takes a long time. And then another option is to go to filters, and then under your effect filters for video, there is one for crop pad, and it pretty much does the same thing. It's by pixels. It just takes a long time for me to do that. And so the method that I like to use is basically select this, and then on these square or handles in Windows, you can hold the Alt key. So whenever your mouse cursor gets to these little boxes or handles, it's going to change. Like for this, it's going to go left to right. And for this one, it's going to go diagonal, okay? But I am using Linux Mint, and so in this case, I just need to hold the Control and Alt key. I'm not sure what it is in Mac, but if I do that, now you see this like green dotted border. That means I'm cropping the actual source. So this way, I don't have the entire source. I just have the parts that I want to keep. So by doing this, now you could actually do the scale and rotate as we did before, or scale and resizing. So I just go ahead and select it, and there it is. And it is a much smaller area, or just the area that is cropped. And so this will be important whenever we are doing our vertical video, because you are going to have to make some adjustments. And if you ever want to reset and go back to normal, make sure the video source is selected, and then right click on your mouse, go to transform, and then go to reset transform, and it'll go back to what it was. Okay, so now we could go ahead and set up our vertical video. So what you want to do is you actually want to create a new profile, because that way you could easily go from your normal standard wide OBS settings to a vertical setting, so you don't have to do this manually all the time. So I'm going to go ahead and go profile. I'm going to create a new profile. I'm just going to call this test and say okay. So once you're here, you're actually going to be able to set up auto config, but I'm going to go ahead and cancel that. And now we have our new profile called test. And then I'm going to go into settings. So in this case, this is where you're going to adjust your overall video settings. So if you go to video, here is the settings for the output. So currently it is 16 by 9, so 1920 by 1080. and my output scaled is at 1280 by 720. So in this case, you can adjust things manually. Now, whenever I'm doing this, I'm gonna probably have to restart, because whenever you're changing these settings and you apply, typically you're gonna have to restart OBS. So in this case, instead of choosing these default resolutions, I'm gonna go ahead and manually put this in. So for 16 by 9, it's 1920 by 1080, but for 9 by 16, which is vertical, it's just the opposite of that. So it's going to be 1080 by 1920. So I'm going to go ahead and change that. So 1080 by 1920. Okay. And then similarly, I want the same for my output. Okay. So whenever I apply this, more than likely it might restart OBS, but I'm going to try this. Okay. So it says okay. Oh, well, it didn't restart it, but in some cases, it might restart your entire OBS setting. So as you can see there, now we have a vertical video resolution. And this is where that whole cropping and resizing makes a difference, what we learned earlier. So as you can see here, I can't see the entire image. So what I need to do is what I showed you earlier. Right now, it is scaled. So I'm going to go here to this drop down and then go to scale to window. Now we can see the entire vertical image. And then you can make some adjustments here. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and center this. Go to transform, center the screen. And if that doesn't adjust things, you could manually do it, or I could also try center vertically. So in this case, it doesn't do anything, but there are some cases where whenever you have your video, it's just easier for you to use that to actually recenter things. But if not, you could go ahead and just move things around. So right there. So I just used the basic move and scale and resizing. You could scale and resize as you want. So in this case, if it's like this, let me see if that helps. If you go to center to screen, there it is. So yeah, you just have to play around with it, or even center vertically. Yeah, it doesn't do anything here. So this is vertical centered, so it's centered right here in the middle. So in this case, I'm going to use the scale and resize, and I'm going to go ahead and decrease this right here, so then I could see my entire screen. There it is. So that is me with a vertical video resolution, and things are good. And then I could go here and scale to window. But then the second thing is you could obviously crop just like we did earlier. So I'm going to zoom out because I do want to be able to see my entire image or source. So I'm going to select this, and then we'll do what we did earlier. So at least for me, I'm going to make sure my mouse cursor is on the handles however I want it. Then I'll hold the Control and Alt in Linux. And then I'm going to crop this. So I want to crop it to just this. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. Just crop it to this. So now it's just this area. So it's easier for me to just adjust a smaller area. But it's really up to you. So you don't necessarily have to crop. So I'm going to go ahead and select this. And let me see if this helps to center it to screen. Okay. And then I could go here to my scale and then scale to window. And there it is. There is a vertical video, and I do have it set as its own profile. You could rename it whatever you want. So in this case, if I wanted to rename it, I could do that. I could just go to rename and rename it. But that's all that you have to do. So once you have this set and you use this profile, you will now have a vertical video in OBS using your webcam or camera source. So if you actually had any thoughts on this or any other ways in which you set up your vertical videos in OBS, be sure to leave in the comments area below. And if you did want to see more of my OBS tutorials, tips, and tricks, I do have an entire playlist. I'll leave that in the description area below. So as always, if you did get value out of these videos, be sure to share, like, and subscribe. And I'll see you on another episode.